Okay, so we're back at the helm of the Optiplex GX110 because I made a little bit of a mistake in my dates and in what this machine actually would have done. You see, when I started elementary school, there were two computer labs set up. There was one for most of us, and then there was another one for the senior years, the 7th and 8th graders. And in our lab, we had iMacs pretty much throughout. There were, I think, a couple eMacs made it in there at some point as well. I don't know exactly when, but I do know that they made it in there. The other lab had compact all-in-ones. And the classrooms, in addition to having these sitting around in them that were never hooked up, had all manner of various older Macintosh equipment, LCs, Macintosh 2s, Power Macintosh 5000s, all that kind of stuff. When I was in 3rd grade, was it 3rd grade? Yeah, it was 3rd grade. They dumped all of the old Macintosh stuff. They moved all of these into the senior lab, and then they moved all of the compacts into our lab, and they moved all of the iMacs into the classrooms. A lot of shuffling around. It was not really efficient, I can't imagine, but that's what they did. And the compact all-in-ones were what ran Windows NT 4. Hilariously unreliable pieces of crap that never really worked right. So after a year of that, they got rid of all the compact all-in-ones. They got rid of the idea of having a second lab, and they took all of these and put these into our lab. And these ran Windows 98 for about a year and a bit. When I was in 5th grade in April, they installed Windows XP on these. That was a mistake. So then after that, they got new machines, dumped these over into what used to be the second lab, was now repurposed for something else. I don't think very many of them were hooked up. And then when I was in 7th grade, they finally tossed all of them. But anyway, so knowing all of that, this machine is actually going to be a Windows 98 box. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Windows 98 disk, and we're going to go ahead and commence the installation process of that, and hope that it's going to work, because Dell doesn't actually have very many drivers for this. In fact, when I put in the service tag for this, the only driver I get is a BIOS update, so hopefully things are going to work, but I know how Windows 98 is. Okay, let's fire it up. We'll go ahead and post. Probably won't boot from the CD-ROM. Wow. It is going to boot from the CD-ROM. Okay, boot from CD-ROM. Now I'm going to F-disk this just so I can get rid of all of what's on the drive, because it's not really important. So we'll start it with CD-ROM support, which is fine. We'll just reformat it. It's actually NTFS, so I'm going to have to get rid of it anyway. So let's see, it's drive D. Remember correctly. Yeah, it doesn't even see it. Yes, I want to enable that. Sure. Display partition information. It's NTFS. That has no idea what that is. Delete. I'm going to go for delete non-DOS partition on that. Go for 1. Yes, I want to continue. So that'll delete that. Create a partition. Actually, why am I doing that? I'm going to go for Control-Alt-Delete on that, if I can. One hand. Probably not even showing the machine at all. You know what? Let me go get a tripod, because I'm sure that people are going to complain if I don't, so. Okay, we have a tripod now, so we'll boot from the CD-ROM. We'll start Windows 98 setup from CD-ROM. believe it's already October. So it's going to reboot a couple times. I think it actually only reboots once, then it'll format the whole disk, which will take forever because, well, let's face it, it's a, what did I put in there? I don't know. I wonder, actually, no, I think this is a 1.2 gig drive. I think I put the one of the 1280 ATs in here. So it's a smaller drive, relatively speaking, but at the same time, well, you get the idea. Yeah, now it's going to format. It'll take forever. Probably fail, because that's what it was doing before on this. I think it was this one. No, it was the HP Pavilion that it was doing that on. I don't know why. It didn't really make sense to me. Alright, so it's going to do a routine scan. That was fast. I don't think this monitor can sync fast enough to do a lot of this. But anyway, this is the usual stuff here. So I don't know really how much of this I'm going to show. It's not like it's really all that interesting. Just installed at the default. "36 minutes. I don't think this is going to take 36 minutes. I'm going to go for a custom installation, like I always do. Yeah, I don't think I need any of those. I don't generally use them anyway. Briefcase might be cool. Nah, I won't use that. Install all the desktop wallpapers, we'll install all the templates, we'll install all the games, which is the way it was set up. I'll leave imaging alone. Actually, Briefcase was on there, so we'll put Briefcase on. I don't think it had any of the other mouse pointers, but I'll add them anyway. Screensavers, we'll add those. I think everything else, pretty much standard. Address book, it had that on there. Actually, it did have the accessibility options, so we'll enable those. Communications. Had hyperterminal on it. Can't really make use of any of the other stuff, so I'm not going to bother with it. Desktop themes. It had those. Did it have those on it? I think there might have been one of them that did. Maybe a couple of them. I won't bother, though. Internet tools. I don't need any of that crap. It comes bundled with IE4 anyways, so you don't really have a choice in the matter. Which is one of the things I really disliked about Windows 98. I don't need any of those. Although it was installed, I don't need them. Don't need Outlook Express. I'm going to leave those alone. It had clipboard viewer on it and the character map. But I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. Web TV for Windows. Nope. Didn't have anything else. So we'll go for next. And we'll give it a name. What game should we give it? We'll call it. We'll just give it a name. There we go. Sounds good to me. Regional settings. This is a different set of options than what it gave me on the other machines. That's alright. Select device. That's funny. Alright, we're in Canada, so we'll set it to Canada. I'm in Canada. I don't know about you. The viewer is probably not. So now this process is going to take forever. It says 26 minutes. I mean, it doesn't take 26 minutes, but it does take, I feel, a little bit longer than it really should. See it working down there. Windows just got better. Well, if you ask me, Windows 95 was a better operating system than Windows 98 ever was. It was a lot more stable. Which isn't really saying much, because neither of them were particularly stable. But at least Windows 95 didn't come with that stupid, idiot Windows IE4 browser that sucked crap. Having said that, though, Netscape of the time wasn't very good either, but that's mostly because all of the proprietary extensions that Microsoft introduced with IE stuck around because everybody used IE because it was already there, and the proprietary extensions that Netscape introduced died off because nobody used them, so I guess there's that. If Microsoft didn't abuse their monopoly, who knows what kind of proprietary extensions would still exist. ActiveX might not even be a thing. And oh boy, wouldn't that ever be great from a security standpoint. But Windows 95 really just seemed like it was a more stable operating system, and when it was broken, it was consistently broken. Windows 98 was all over the map. One day it would work perfectly fine, the next it would be broken, you'd try and fix it, wouldn't get very far, and then it would start working again. It really just never made any sense to me. Just a crappy all-around operating system. 98 didn't introduce anything revolutionary over 95, except maybe if you consider USB support to be revolutionary. The help system was worse. The desktop experience was worse because IE infiltrated the whole thing and made it slower. As a thing about faster performance comes up. Yeah, right, faster performance. 95 was always faster than 98, even on the same hardware. Maybe I should actually do a qualitative comparison of that in a video at some point. I think that ought to be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Just, I never liked 98, if you couldn't tell already. So I'm gonna let this process complete, and then I'll come back with hopefully not more complaints about Windows 98, but we'll see. Okay, pretty much at the end of setup now, so we'll reboot the machine. Well, the end of that part of setup. It's still going to take quite a significant amount of time to install this, assuming it's even going to work, which it probably won't, because, like I said, Windows 98 has got a bad habit of not working on hardware that it should work on. Here's the CD-ROM spin up. Oops, I want to boot from the hard drive. Getting ready to run Windows for the first time. This is like, what? The third or fourth Windows 98 machine I've got now. So there's this one here. There's the IBM IntelliStation that I still have, and I'm thinking about maybe incorporating that into a couple of videos coming up. What else do I have? There's the HP Pavilion now. There's a Toshiba Portage in here somewhere. Oh, it's right over there. And what else? Eventually a Compact, the Compact Desk Pro will be a Windows 98 machine. So, wow, that's 5 Windows 98 boxes. And I said that I hated Windows 98. This is one of the reasons. What is it doing? I mean, the hard drive is constantly reading. Here we go. Oh, updating configuration files. Well, why didn't it just say so? To be fair, that's not really a thing that Windows 95 did either. When you install it and it updates configuration files, it doesn't really say what it's doing. Okay. Probably gonna have to put in my product key here in just a second. Yes, I'm gonna have to put in my product key. That was easy. We'll finish that part of setup. And now it is going to detect hardware. And this is where on the HP machine, it ran into problems. It would detect all the hardware, it would reboot once, and then it would give me a Windows protection error. Now, why would it do that? I have no idea. I don't really know what fixed it on that. I shut it all down, unplugged it, plugged it all back in because I was going to try one more time, accidentally booted it into safe mode, and it complained about not being able to set up drivers in safe mode, whatever. So I rebooted it again, and then it started working. That's what I mean by Windows 98 is inconsistently broken. It's just weird, man. Although, having said that, when I transferred the installation off of the Lightning PC, because I took the hard drive out of the Lightning PC and put it into the HP, so I'm not keeping the Lightning PC, I've decided. It's too big and bulky for what I want to do with it. I put that in there, and it didn't even find the BIOS. Windows 98. So it couldn't really do much. Didn't see the CD-ROM, didn't really see much of anything. It just didn't work. So, there's that. This process always takes forever. Detecting non-plug-and-play hardware. Now here we go with another reboot. This is the one where it failed on the last one, so we'll see if it actually works on this. With the faster CPU. It's like, is it a 1 gigahertz CPU, I think? Should have went into the BIOS and checked. I don't think it'll matter, though. Boot from the hard drive. Get into Windows 98. It'll probably give me a protection error because my life is a comedy, and I've been talking about protection errors. Windows 98's an error. Okay. Well, no, it actually started. Wow, that's a surprise. So they detect hardware, the hard drive is going crazy. I think it's a Quantum Fireball 10, a 1280 AT. I can't hear it. Here we go. Well, the time's right. The time zone is not. We're in Eastern. I always thought it was stupid how you could only apply an OK. You couldn't just hit OK. It didn't let you do that. So if I remember right, hitting close negated the settings changes. Oh wow, this is going to take a while. Okay, it says 2 minutes. Certainly hasn't been half an hour. Probably only been maybe 10 minutes, if even that. 15 minutes. We'll reboot again. I'm going to leave the CD in the drive because I think it still needs it for the last little bit of driver setup. What kind of CPU does this have? I think I missed the BIOS. Yeah, I did. Oops. Oh, no I didn't. Yeah. Pentium 3, 1 gigahertz. Okay, so I was right. Boot from hard drive. Windows 98. I wonder if I should put 98 Lite on this. If I can find it. No video driver yet. VX715. What is that? Must be a monitor. Yeah, that's the plug-and-play monitor. Oh yeah, that is this monitor, the ViewSonic VX715. You won't find anything on the floppy. It's just a monitor. Usually that doesn't work out of the box either. Okay, no video driver. That sucks. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out on my own, I think. Microsoft Windows 98. Get out of here. Nobody cares about you. Let's go in here. Device manager. Yeah, there's a real lack of drivers on here. I'm gonna have to figure that out. It found the USB. Yeah, it did. It found the USB driver. Now, after Windows is done being completely stupid, we actually have a video driver now. Should forget about the floppy drive. I notice now that it doesn't say CD-ROM. This has probably lost my CD-ROM drive, like Windows usually is. Oh, there we go. Now we got the IDE controller. So now it's I guess now it's reinstalling all the drivers now that it's got the chipset. So I installed the chipset driver. In hopes that maybe that would get the audio working. This monitor is in rough shape. Well, not so much. It's just the picture looks weird. That's better. Yeah, I guess we'll reboot it again. Still haven't figured out if the Ethernet driver actually worked. I installed all 3 drivers that I thought were necessary. I haven't bothered with the BIOS yet. So I don't know if I'm going to. I'm a little concerned that that'd end up with a brick. The luck that I've been having with Windows today. And this is what happens. Oh, there we go. It just freezes right there. I had to reboot it once. I don't think the 3COM driver is going to work. Oh, except it did. I didn't complain about it anyway. Let's see here. Probably still don't have audio. Here's Internet Explorer doing what it does best. Slowing the entire system down. What a useless pile of crap browser. Get out of here. Device manager. Oh yeah, it actually is working. Look at that. I still don't have my audio device. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Well, through some inexplicable miracle, that actually worked. Theoretically. I don't have a thing, though, so I don't think that was what we wanted. Somehow or another. But maybe it was. Huh. I'm pretty sure this had Intel audio. I was positive this had Intel audio on it. Well then. Interesting. I don't have a control in the lower corner, though. That's odd. Usually there is one. Yeah, show volume control on the... There's no volume control on the taskbar. Wow, what a piece. Okay, that's okay. Apparently there's no MIDI on this. That sucks. Too bad you can't scan for new hardware. Oh well, whatever. I think it's good enough to go. Maybe I'll hook a... Do I have any speakers lying around? I do have these. These Org Audio cardboard speakers. These probably won't work too well as I'm busy trying to break them. I don't know. I don't know if these would actually work. We can find out, though. Which one's left? Which one's right? I suppose it doesn't really matter for the purposes of a demonstration. Let's see. I'm going to hook this up. hook it up. It'd be a line output, but I can't see which one's the line out. Usually that's the green one. I'm going to assume that it's this one. It's not the microphone. So, what I'll do then is go back into the control panel and I'll see if the sounds actually work. It's interesting that oh, there's the taskbar icon. Listen to that. Glorious. Okay. This is usually set to... Where is it? Not log off. I want to set to ta-da. Listen to that. Glorious. Oh, I love the sound. The only thing I hated about these machines were when the damn students, damn kids, would go to YouTube, and this is back when YouTube would even work on something like this. Go to YouTube, load up a song that, off the top of my head, that Trollolololol song that I'm sure is still popular in elementary schools. They'd play that on, let's see, I think there were like 35 or 40 of these things in the computer lab. And about 10 or 15 of them would be playing that song at the same time, out of sync. Oh, it was awful. That was the only thing that I disliked about the audio on these things. The speakers don't actually get all that loud, but they're not amplified, so... Oh yeah, that brings back memories. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for the video. It's drug out to like 28 minutes unedited so far, so... Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then. Shuts down really quickly.